So Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira took place in the main event of UFC Fight Night Jacksonville, Florida, and I'll be honest with you guys, this was not the result I expected. I thought Anthony Smith was going to go out there and repeat the first round that he did tonight throughout the entire fight and eventually get a finish in round 4. He was even faking the uppercut at one point, giving Glover Teixeira flashbacks of the Gustafsson fight. I thought that was going to play a factor as well as I was watching. After the first round of watching this fight, I thought to myself, right, Anthony Smith is on a different level to Glover. He's improved his game dramatically, and he's going to easily win this fight. Then in the second round, he was still winning the fight, in my opinion, but it was a little bit closer, and I was a little bit more worried, I'll be honest with you guys. And then the third round came along, Anthony Smith got hit with a jab to the eye, and it was all over from there, kind of. It was just like Anthony Smith, this guy who can take head kicks from Thiago Santos after a weight cut down to middleweight and go 5 rounds with John Jones, firing illegal knees into his head while he's grounded, can't take a jab off Glover. And it was a weird situation. I think there was something more than just Anthony Smith getting rocked and dropped by Glover and eventually taken down to the ground. I think there may have been a bit of a facial injury to Anthony Smith, and throughout the fight I was thinking to myself, and I said this before the fight as well, those teeth are a real concern of mine, because when fighters get that whole new set of teeth, those aren't as strong as your real teeth are. They will never be as strong as your real teeth are, because guess what? They're not real teeth, and they don't sit in your gums like real teeth, and they're not human teeth. They're fake teeth. Why as a fighter would you get fake teeth? And you could see it in the fight. They were falling out of Anthony Smith's mouth. At one moment in the fight, he even went to pick up a fucking tooth from the floor and gave it to the referee in the middle of round 2, I believe, or round 3, whenever Glover was on top. He had the time to go, oh yeah, save that tooth, I'm going to need to put it in again later. It was a weird moment, and I feel like almost, although it was a great performance from Glover Teixeira, and Glover Teixeira, the old guy, gets it done, back in the top 5, 4-fight win streak, it's crazy that somehow in the UFC we have a 40-year-old Glover Teixeira in the top 5 again. No one saw that one coming in a million years. If you told me 2 years ago that Glover Teixeira was going to be in title contention, I would have laughed in your face and called you a retard. I really would have. So I guess that makes me what I'm calling people now, because Glover Teixeira went out there and won. Regardless if it was because Anthony Smith's teeth was falling out and they're not as strong as his old ones, or regardless if it was because Glover jabbed Anthony Smith and his eye was never recovered. Either way, Glover Teixeira won. I just don't understand. I almost feel like Anthony Smith lost, if you know what I mean. I don't think Glover won the fight. I know he did, and I watched it happen. I watched Glover beat him up in round 3, which from what I was looking at could have been a 10-8 round. But then, like, I've seen Smith take those shots, and they weren't even big shots from Glover, but they just made him shell up and give in. Like, he would take a jab and it would just make him go all wheezy and droozy, and he'd start dropping his arms, and he kept doing this thing where he would lean on Glover with his hands up and just accept abuse. It was weird. The whole fight was weird from start to finish. But in the first round, Anthony Smith was on fire. Like, honestly, he was amazing in that first round. I've never seen a more sharp-looking Anthony Smith. The twos were landing. He was catching Glover Teixeira at the end of all of his punches. Clean shots every single time. The front kicks to the body were working as well. But then come the third round, it just seemed like one thing happened that just meant, okay, the fight's over for Anthony Smith. In hindsight, and I know live it's a little bit of a different situation, because obviously Smith could land one shot and put Glover out cold, which even in the 4th round at one point he had a good moment against Teixeira where he's landed some good elbows. However, in hindsight, maybe the corner should have stepped in and said, hey, you don't have real teeth anymore. Why the fuck do you have fake teeth, you idiot, as a fighter? And that's what happened. Cool. Glover Teixeira jabbed him. Smith couldn't take it anymore, went down. I hate to degrade the performance of Teixeira. I really do hate to do that. But, like, Smith kind of lost that one, in my opinion. I know I picked Smith, and I could be a little bit biased here. I did say before this fight, if anyone in the light heavyweight division in the top 5 was going to lose, it was going to be Anthony Smith. Like, no, I would not pick Teixeira against any of Blachowicz or Reyes. That's for damn sure, and that would never go Teixeira's way, in my opinion, at all. There's zero chance of Teixeira winning that one, but something about Anthony Smith, there was something where I thought, okay, Teixeira actually does have a chance here, and he did have a chance. And after he jabbed Teixeira with the jab from the gods, after he jabbed Smith with the jab from the gods, that shattered Smith's face in half. The thunderous jab of Glover Teixeira that hasn't KO'd anyone since USADA. I don't know. Smith just couldn't take it anymore. His teeth were coming out. But I just have some questions here, and I hate to pile on Smith. Darren Till did this as well, and when he first did it, he got KO'd by Masvidal. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to take away from this, but why are you getting a whole set of fake teeth in your mouth in the middle of your fighting career? I just don't understand it. You know, like, I get your teeth and maybe I don't know because my teeth aren't that fucked up, I guess. You know, like, I've got decent, but their teeth weren't that fucked. It's not like I looked at Anthony Smith's teeth and thought, oh, they're hideous. Like, why'd you have to resurface your entire jaw? Like, that's a big deal when you're a fighter, man. And they were falling out in the fight. In the 5th round, he said, my teeth keep falling out. And I think that's why he kept holding his face after every jab, just to, like, slot them back in somehow. I have no idea what was going on. But I guess we're lucky he didn't choke on a tooth and die. That's a positive outcome from this. But I think we're all a little bit upset about it. We're all a little bit down, because it was kind of set in the stone that this would be Smith's big main event. It's a winnable fight against Glover. It's a bit of a picked fight for him to win, in all honesty, which didn't work out in hindsight. But Jesus Christ, this was Anthony Smith's fight to win. He was supposed to win. He had all the promo about the home invasion, which actually was a terrible moment in his life that ended up being the greatest moment in his life career-wise, because it seemed to give him this resurge of popularity in hindsight of the whole thing happening. There's a silver lining there, I guess. And then he lost tonight. And it kind of ruins the whole thing, because I don't want to see Glover versus Jones at all, ever. Sorry, it just doesn't. I don't pay for events anyway, but it wouldn't get my money if I was dumb enough to pay. Like, I'm not paying for Teixeira Jones, regardless of how rich I am ever in life. Like, it just wouldn't be a compelling matchup. Now, I could say that, but then Glover Teixeira might go out there and just KO Santos coming off a knee injury in Brazil and become a Brazilian hero. And then maybe him versus Jones is interesting, but still, I'm just a bit. I feel like everyone lost a bit of themselves tonight. There was a weird night of fights, okay? The whole thing was just a bit strange. I feel like this whole pandemic situation is so unpredictable. But Teixeira won. So good for him. He was getting outclassed, but, you know, he landed that jab from the gods. You know, the jab from the favelas themselves, straight into Smith's eye, and then it just was over. From there, basically, Smith just... But I don't know what to say. Like, there were moments in the fight where Smith didn't even look like he was getting hit by punches, and then he would just, like, lean into Teixeira like he was going to fall over otherwise. It was just a weird fight to watch. Some people are saying it's fixed. Don't say fights are fixed in the UFC. Conor McGregor would be champ, and Ngannou would have beaten Stipe. Please don't say the fights are fixed. I hate that, and I especially hate it more when guys say fights are fixed, like, not even at a championship level. Like, the UFC's... Like, the UFC survival does not rest on the hands of Anthony Smith's win against Glover Teixeira. Like, or Glover Teixeira's win against Anthony Smith. Why would they fix Glover Teixeira to win against Anthony Smith after all of the promo they've done for Smith? Madness. I don't know where Smith goes from here, but I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe he should retire because he fucked up his whole mouth. And that's hard to say because he's still in his prime, is Anthony Smith. He looked better than ever in that first round before he took a punch. And then it was all over. Like, it wasn't even that he got rocked. It was just he took a punch and his face can't absorb the damage with the teeth the way I don't even know. I still don't know. Some people were saying the tooth. I saw him pick up a tooth. I know in the 5th round he mentioned something about his teeth falling out as well. It was just weird, man. It was just I'd love to hear from Anthony Smith afterwards. Like, I don't know. It was just a weird night of fights from start to finish. But the main event was the weirdest one in particular. But you know what? Credit to Teixeira. He took down Smith. He beat him up. Smith was doing good defensively. I know that fight, people were saying that fight could have been stopped sooner. But to be fair, Smith didn't let it get stopped a bit sooner. Like, the referee, I know he can say that, but if the fighter's still trying to defend himself, which Smith was, which is a natural reaction to getting beaten up anyway, then you kind of have to give him that chance. Like, at the same time, if the referee did step in, but Smith was scrambling in the moment where the ref stepped in, people would have a problem with it. But, like, in hindsight, you know, anything can be said. I just think it was a weird fight, and for Smith, I don't know what's next for him, man. I don't know if he can win a fight ever again. Those teeth are going to be a problem for the rest of his career. He can't get his old teeth back. They're gone now. He's got all those new teeth that can't stay in his mouth when he gets hit by a punch. He's fucked for the whole career. There's nothing he can do now. I don't understand. He has a wife and kids. Who do you need to have a good smile for, bro? You've secured your wife. You've had all your kids. What, do you want to have a nice smile for the girls outside the gym? I just don't get it. Maybe for himself, but then Anthony Smith's mouth has never made me want to be sick. You know, like I've never noticed he had bad teeth at all. Maybe it's an American thing. Maybe just from my UK perspective, bad teeth is a completely different idea of something, because I know Americans take their dental hygiene very seriously. However, I don't know what he's going to do, because if he gets punched in the mouth again, which he will, and regardless, Jones gets punched in the mouth, Khabib gets punched in the mouth, if your teeth can't stay in, you lose from now on. It's such a depressing moment to say this, but he's not going to get his old teeth back because it's impossible. Those teeth will never be as strong as his new ones. These teeth will never be as strong as his original ones. And they're just going to get weaker and weaker the more and more he gets them put back into his mouth. So he's fucked unless he doesn't get hit by a punch, which just ain't going to happen. So I don't know. Sucks for Anthony Smith, but if I could pick an opponent that would be next for him, Anthony Smith versus Corey Anderson is a matchup that could be made down the line. I think that would be a great matchup to make. Anthony Smith, Corey Anderson, two top guys recently coming off a bad loss that they shouldn't have really lost. In hindsight, I know Anderson was a big favourite over Jan Blachowicz. Obviously, Smith a big favourite over Teixeira. Both of them got the loss. Match them up with each other. The winner stays in contention. I think that's a good matchup if Smith is going to continue his career, and if Anderson's going to continue his career as well, because Jesus Christ, there's been a lot of KOs now. But either way, Glover, on the other hand, I don't know what he's going to do. I think Rumble might pick him as his next opponent to come back to, because if I was Rumble and I was looking at the top 5 of the light heavyweight division and I had to pick someone to come back against, I would pick Glover Teixeira. I'm sure we all would. And then maybe Thiago Santos would be a good pick because he's coming back from the surgeries that he's had on his knees. But even then, I don't know. I'd pick Glover. If I was Rumble right now and I wanted a quick fight with a title elimination bout on the line, like, that would be his title elimination bout with Glover Teixeira, and then we'll see what happens from there. Rumble's licking his lips, I think, and I think he's going to make a move real soon, speak to the UFC, hey, you know how Glover just beat Smith in that totally legit way? I want Glover, man, he's real tough. Rumble versus Glover 2 sounds good to me. If Glover wants it, that's great, but if Glover doesn't want that fight, and if Rumble doesn't even want to come back, because I have no idea what's going on with Rumble, then Glover versus Santos, and the winner gets this title shot after the winner of Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz. I don't fucking know, but any of those things could happen. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Sucks for Anthony Smith, but hey, that's going to be a recurring problem for him, I guess. He wasn't even rocked. I swear to God he wasn't even rocked. I don't even know. But good job, Glover Teixeira. Great performance. And also a fairy tale performance as well, because he's 40 years of age. Good for him, dude. He's 40. He shouldn't be here anyway. He's still gritting through, beating all these young up-and-comers. Good for Glover, man. Hopefully he goes far, and who knows, maybe Glover will beat Jones. Sorry. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button there. Goodbye. I missed the stop record. Goodbye.